Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Good, The Bad, and The Bitcoin. US inflation data today, and I'm joined for this very special event, which hopefully is going to lead later on to some market volatility, by Jonatan Randin from RLZ Trading. Welcome, Jonatan. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. How are you today?
I'm not bad either. I'm trying to keep up with everything that is happening, especially some movements on the Forex market today. I got like alarms left and right that I had to attend to. So let's see how things are going to be in around about half hour when we see the inflation data. Yeah, what do we have planned for you guys today? We want, of course, prepare you a little bit for this event, want to talk about what is this inflation data? Why is it actually so important at the moment? And what effect is it maybe going to have also on the next big event that is going to shape the markets this week, which of course is the interest rate decision of the Federal Reserve tomorrow evening. So that's going to be obviously a biggie also. We're going to analyze everything for you. If we see some decent volatility later on and some targets are hit there, at least on my charts, I might engage also in a couple of trades, to kind of show you how a possibility is to trade news. By the way, also a topic I'm going to do my next video on, because this is one thing I always get asked. But I would say we jump right into the charts. And as the guest, of course, I want to give you the honor, Jonatan. Maybe you take it away. Let me just activate your screen.
Sure, let's go. So, yeah, I'm watching mainly apart from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, actually, only Bitcoin, not really Ethereum. But I'm watching these 5 ones right here. So I have Euro USD, AUD NCD, the S&P 500, CAD, JPY, and the GBP USD. So I think right now Euro USD is, I'm going to remove that one. It's an old journal entry and 2 previous trades. But I think from a TA perspective here on Euro USD, we are touching upon a fairly good level, which is around this area. And you can also see that this is, I would like to say that this is almost a not picture perfect. Nothing in real markets are picture perfect. But you look at the market structure here of a downtrend, I guess you could call this a range, and then a breakout, an uptrend. And what we're seeing now is a break of this local uptrend. So we're seeing like we're breaking here. You could see that this is now a local downtrend after a local uptrend. But we could also, if we switch to the daily, we could also watch this as a potential higher high. So we might be looking at a new major uptrend here for Euro USD, and it's hitting a beautiful support right here. And we can also add the Fibonacci retracement tool, and we'll see that right on the bounce, it comes down and hits the reload zone right here of the latest push to the upside. And I think this is like a really good area if you're for some reason expecting the euro to outperform the dollar in the next couple of weeks or next couple of months. I believe this is the area where you want to accumulate. So I do see that if, of course, inflation data comes out and it's I'm not sure how to put it, but if the data suggests that the Feds are not going to hike rates, this might be good for the euro. Okay. So euro might, so we might see a push to the upside.
And it's like, interesting. Also, sorry to interrupt you there.
No worries.
I want to quickly share my screen here. Very interesting. Also, we are really lingering around here at the moment where last time what Jonatan just showed also, where we hit the resistance and came off. That is actually the 50% retracement, Fibonacci retracement from this big move that we had from 2021 to late 2022, when the dollar in comparison to the euro got stronger and stronger and stronger. So this whole risk-off phase, we have been rejected at that 50% retracement now 4 times already.
Very interesting. I didn't see that actually. That's very, very interesting. I think So yeah, for EURUSD, and I know I've seen people wanting to kind of build positions here on this. Now the way I'm trading is it's not really the way I'm trading, but it's tempting, of course. But then you look at the 4-hour, we are seeing some really good market structure or price action here to potentially get confirmed. So the way I would trade this, and now in the back of my head I have a high time frame bias, and I want to say like, can I swing trade this, or can I do something intraday, or I guess intra week is more what I would look for, and I guess intra week would be a swing. But here I'd like to add a level here, maybe even all the way up here, but let's keep it a bit lower so that we focus on the most recent price action. I always try to focus on the right side of the chart when it comes to these setups, and I want to see, preferably I want the market to react something like this, have a negative reaction or bearish reaction to news down here, and then a push up. So why I want a move down and then up is because I want to be able to anchor my fib here. Because if I anchor my fib here, we can have a move up to these levels, get rejected here, and then this would be my trade. So it's a break in structure. We have a downtrend. We are seeing a somewhat of a rounded price action, and we are seeing equal lows and equal highs, somewhat of a range. Could be just the same process that we saw here, a downtrend, range, uptrend. That's something I'm looking for. And the way I would trade this is I would simply wait for the bounce here. I would go long on confirmation, stop loss below wherever confirmation is, and I would try to maybe take profits up around this area. So looking at the overall picture, it's a relatively small move looking at the overall picture, but it's a 3R trade, which is very good considering I have a win rate of 50 to 60%, around 55, I would say. Lately, more 50, but 3R is definitely good. So for EURUSD, that's something I'm looking at. And then, like you said, we had a lot of big moves in the forex market, but we also had some big moves in the Bitcoin in crypto market. So you look at Bitcoin, yesterday's candle quite bearish on the bigger scale. Like it doesn't even. I mean, I can't even see that candle, so it doesn't matter. But what I'm seeing here, if you go out to the daily, we have a very good level here. We have a very, very good level here. Now, usually, like, if Bitcoin is in the bull market, it's not going to hit that level, because usually what happens is Bitcoin just leaves everyone behind, and everyone's like, "Oh, I want to buy Bitcoin. I need to see Bitcoin come down to support before I buy." Well, that almost never happens in a bull market, at least not the major support. So I'm thinking, if we want to buy Bitcoin lower, well, maybe this was your chance, or at least look at this area here. Maybe like just a small peak below, or like we've seen so many times before, it's like Bitcoin just has a weird wick all the way down here, and then it continues. So it's very, very hard to anticipate where Bitcoin is going to bounce. But if we do see some type of consolidation in this area, and maybe a rounded bottom, like something like this, I think it's safe to say that we have established high time frame support in that area. And you see, there's just so much history here. There's just so much going on in this whole area here for Bitcoin. So it's a lot going on in many different markets. So you can look at the S&P 500. I mean, I remember we had a live stream many months ago, and we talked about this.
Yeah, I remember this graphic from you, actually.
Yeah, and we said said, well, guys, it looks like we have a potential break in market structure. We had that massive double bottom, and what happened? It broke out, and here we actually retested that level. So if you look at the weekly, this is just a picture perfect, like a break and retest after exiting a accumulation phase. So the market is bullish. The market is very bullish. And,
yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think you can see that, especially in the S&P 500. Also, I was a little bit surprised yesterday evening that we closed actually above 4,600, even above 4,620, because that has been quite a resistance up there. No, I said it on many of my live streams that I think it's kind of hard to overcome this. But now, prior already to the inflation data coming out yesterday, we closed above it. That is, for me, a very bullish sign. And I think if we really see today, where do I have my economic calendar? Here we go. In around about 18 minutes, inflation coming in at least at 3.1%, so hitting the target. Of course, if we see like 3% or 2.9%, even better, we're going to see like a super bullish move. I mean, there's a lot of space here to the upside until around about 4,730 here in the SP 500. That it could potentially take really in in a very short time frame. I mean, when the markets start moving, they move fast. For me, also very interesting what happened here on Bitcoin is that we got rejected exactly yesterday. That was exactly at this 20 days moving average, so the purple line here. This is where the market turned around. And I find that so interesting because normally not in moving average I really use, but I read a lot on social media about influencers, traders, whoever saying like, for my swing trades, I look a lot at the 20 days moving average, and well, voila, this is where the market turned around. And for sure, better data is going to get very interesting if we maybe can then crack over this barrier here of around about 44,500 or 45,000 US dollar. When on the other side, of course, the numbers come in worse than expected. So, and this is absolutely a possibility as well. Maybe we see like 3.2, 3.3, 3.4%. Then we have a whole different narrative, because then we are going to have a fear in the market again that the that the Federal Reserve might actually not keep this interest rate plateau at 5.5%, what we've reached since September, stable, but then maybe there are rate hikes, in the discussion again. Probably not tomorrow, because I mean that's pretty set in stone market expectations. 98.4% of traders are expecting interest rates to stay stable. But if we look here, next decision then would be in January. That could, of course, shift the narrative then towards maybe 5.75%. I personally do not believe that. I've made that over the last months. I voiced that out over and over again, because normally once we reach such a plateau, it's a matter of like 8-9 months on average that we see falling interest rates again, which, by the way, would also then coincident with Bitcoin halving, because then we would be in May, end of April, probably roundabout, we're going to have the next Bitcoin halving. So this could be a potential super bull run. But of course, we want to
like that.
Look. I mean, I'm dreaming now. Ask me again in a couple of months. A lot of time still going by there, but I mean, what we see here really, if we just look at it like setting aside now technical analysis, setting aside indicators and so on and so forth, if we just see it from an economic standpoint, what we've seen is that for the largest part of this year, market participants were expecting a so-called hard landing. So a couple of months, 2, 3, 4 months, where we see a recession in the USA. But it seems like this is not happening. Consumer spending is very strong. The job market is below average at the moment, but it's still strong. There are new jobs created. It's still growing. So this narrative of a so-called soft landing and a prospering economy is in the heads again. And this is also part of the reason why we've seen this crazy moves to the upside. And you might remember this chart, Jonatan, one I always like to show as well. Yeah. This is what we were talking about last September, where I said once inflation starts ticking down from high grounds, it's usually about the low of a stock market. And this has worked out great.
Yeah, I remember that, because we talked about that at the same time as I showed the previous chart, and it kind of aligned with the breakup structure and everything. Did you now the thing is, it's being a hindsight trader is just very easy, but the S&P 500 showed that structure at the same time as you talked about your chart, and Bitcoin was at a good level. So that was really everything aligned at that point. And then there's a lot of on-chain analysis that pointed to in the same direction, that Bitcoin and the market was bottoming. And so I really hope that people saw that and bought Bitcoin. I really hope people did.
Yeah, I hope so too. Probably most of them did not. I remember just a couple of days ago, I talked to an ex-colleague who asked me this year in February when we were at, where were we? There somewhere in the 20s, I think still, no? Probably, yeah, we just cracked through 20. He asked me like, should I buy Bitcoin? I said, I don't want to say directly yes now, but I think there's a high chance a couple of months down the road, by the end of the year, we are going to be much, much higher. And I just asked him the other day, so did you execute? Did you buy some? And he said, no, I didn't. I was waiting for it to drop lower. This is what we see over and over again, of course. People say like, oh, when we see 40,000, I'm going to buy. If we see 40,000, they say, it's going lower. It's going to 36,000. It's going to 30,000, and so on and so forth. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of courage. Let's put it like this. Once prices slump down, to be one of the first ones to say like, yeah, okay, this is a good price. I'm going to buy now. So maybe like for how could we approach this whole trading intraday today? I think this is probably also interesting. What I like to do, I don't news trade very often. So what I don't like to do is I don't like to bet on how the news is going to be. I very rarely do that. Sometimes I have like my opinion when I do the deep dive on how certain economic data is going to be. Is it going to be better or worse? And when I take a position, a very small one, but please don't like crazy leverage trade news. However, one thing I learned from the institutional traders out there, so the guys that sit, for example, at Goldman Sachs, at Julius Baer, Bank UBS, Credit Suisse not anymore, it's also UBS now, that like manage the flows of, for example, the euro book. So every time a client sells or buys euro versus dollar, for example, they have to manage the other side of a trade and see that they keep a lot from the spread, that basically defend the spread, what the bank earns from. And those traders, one thing they always like to look at is the average trading range. So what I like to do sometimes is I like to display this average trading range onto my screen to kind of display like where volatility wise to the top and where to the bottom could we see a turnaround in market structure today? Meaning like maybe Bitcoin not the best example, euro dollar is a better example. If we should see euro dollar going up here to 108.30 roundabout, this could be a potential short entry, short term, where you can scalp like a couple of pips, like 10, 20, 30 pips out of the market. If we see euro dollar going down to 107.40, this could be also an area where we see the market turning around. So I'm not going to enter immediately after the news release. I'm going to sit here and wait first. Is like one of those bands of average true range going to be hit? And the one that gets hit first, I could trade. But that also depends on how far the number is off. Like, for example, if you get like a super duper surprise number, like 2.5% inflation, core inflation down to 3% or something like this, the market, of course, is going to go crazy. Then I wouldn't engage in something like this. But it's a good strategy really to look at those level. Average true range, this indicator I'm using here, I'm going to share later this week on my new video also, that you can use that as well. Very practical, give you some examples. Let's say if we can add another example to that toolbox here today.
Yeah, I'm gonna enter trade here. So I talked about my previous idea here on Euro USD, that obviously I'm not expecting anything to happen, but I'm thinking the price and also one thing I didn't, because I didn't have the indicator on last time or on the analysis I did. So you can see up here that we have the monthly open level right here, and this is the daily 50. No, that's the daily 20. That's the daily 50 EMA, and this is the 20 and 50 EMA in the 4 hours. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I do think that there's a possibility of price coming down if there's we know that there's heavy volatility coming up in 10 minutes, so we might see a spike all the way down here. So what I'm doing is I'm entering orders for a small position here, and hopefully my idea kind of plays out. Now, if it doesn't play out, if I'm not getting that break and retest, I'm at least making some small profits on the way up here. But also I can, when you have that breakout, I can move stops to entry. So my entry level will be the stop loss on the previous trade, and the position sizes will be, or the loss will be similar. So it's yeah, I'll be break even on that one, and a small loss on that one. So either a small loss on that one or a small loss on that one. So decent risk management. So I'm just going to enter the orders right there. I think that's correct. Risk, take profit. Yeah. Right. So it's on here now. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be my interesting idea to follow on this news.
So sorry for me again. Where did you put your limit order now?
Right here.
Right here. So limit buy down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What the price is that?
I have it right here. It's 1077.
1077. Okay. Interesting. Good. And any other instruments you potentially want to trade today, or are you focusing on euro dollar?
Well, I think it's too much risk and doing more. I mean, I do like so at the same time as I mean, if there's going to be, if euro USD is going to go up, most likely AUD NCD is going to go down. So for AUD NCD, this is something I've been looking at. I can't enter this now though, but so what I'm looking at is something like this, but it's just, I don't know. I have to see first and move down and then a retest here. So AUD NCD is something I'm watching, but probably not something I'm going to be trading now. S&P 500 also not tradable now. CAD JPY, I do like CAD JPY, but it's quite messy. But I do like how this level looks on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, it's a very good rejection at that level, but it's not super clean. I need to wait maybe till tomorrow. And then GBP USD looks similar to Euro USD. I do, however, think Euro USD looks better because Euro USD has retested this level. So Euro USD has already retested, like, I would say one of the best levels on the chart right now, which is this. While GBP USD has, in my opinion, still room to the downside.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. Yeah.
So
totally.
yeah, I'm focusing on Euro USD today.
I think also that's a smart move because it's like, in general, guys, if you're watching this, you really should focus on instruments that are very liquid. Because I mean, I don't know which brokers you are trading out there, but what you'll very often see is during these news event that the spread of certain currency pairs or even index CFDs like the SP 500 gets very, very wide. Yeah. Like you can almost fly with a plane through it, so wide is the spread. And so can easily be suddenly that you see something like, buy price for Euro USD at the moment is 107.80, sell price 108.20. I'm exaggerating now a little bit, but I've seen that before. And the more liquid the currency pair or instrument is you are trading there, the smaller the likelihood of you really suddenly paying a spread of 20, 30, 40, or 50 pips. I remember back then when we had this Fukushima incidents, they're coming with old stories now again, and that we had like, I tried to close a trade on option trade, actually that was in Euro US dollar, and that was an investment bank we were trading with, Julius Baer, and they had a spread of 100 pips on Euro US dollar, because
100, that's insane.
100, because nobody wanted to take any position anymore in the market.
Wow.
Everybody was afraid. Probably not going to happen today, but this is the case. So if you, for example, like trade something like US dollar Turkey or US dollar versus Indonesian rupiah or something like this, or Indian rupiah, you for sure are going to have a large spread. I also don't so much like to trade the S&P 500 at this time of the day, by the way, because actually the US stock markets are not open yet. So the feed we are getting here is the broker feed at the moment of what they are thinking, where the S&P 500 should be priced now. And that also gives a little bit leeway, if you want to say bad things, to manipulation. And brokers sometimes do that. They sometimes hunt for your stops. So be careful there. If you want to trade that, euro dollar.
I'm trading with Oanda, and Oanda is one of the. Yeah, I mean, Oanda is one of the biggest ones, but it has quite bad spreads at time. Like I can't, so Oanda, like I said, is one of the biggest ones, right? But and that's where I have my personal trading capital. But then I have with the Fivers that I'm funded with, and they have like insanely good spreads. But they have, institutional liquidity providers, which obviously seems better than Oanda. But even what I'm saying is, even Oanda, which you can go with like Forex.com or Oanda, those are like really big ones. Even with some of the biggest retail brokers, you're going to have some insane spreads. So especially during news events. But if you're scalping, if you're on the 1 minute, you really have to consider spreads, because if you look at Euro USD, like the spread, as you can see here, that's the difference between the blue and the red line. So the difference between the bid and the ask, that's the spread, right? Which is not a problem on the 4 hour. Now, of course, during news events, it can become a problem on the 4 hour, but on the 4 hour, when you zoom out, you can't see the difference. Now, if I go down to the 1 minute, it creates a problem, because as you can see here, this area right here can and will become huge. So right now we have a spread of 1.4, which is
it's already quite large, actually.
Yeah, so 1.4. This is 1.4, right? Yeah. So imagine if you have an order here. Price actually needs to come down here for you to get filled. So yeah, and if you place your orders down here, well, that's not the same setup. So when scalping, you have to be very careful with the spreads. And again, 1.4 Euro USD. The news isn't out yet, so yeah.
Yeah, and remember also, you always have to go through the spread 2 times. Yeah, when you buy, it has to move further in your direction for your limit order to be executed. When you have a take profit or stop loss in there, it's the same. Stop loss to your disadvantage, take profit potentially to your advantage, but also there, and even 2.8 pips, or let's say something like 5 or 6 pips during a news event, if you scalp the market, that's a lot of money already. If you're aiming to do something like 15, 20, 25 pips, it's like easy, like 1/3, 1/4 of your potential winnings already gone. This is what, in my opinion, makes trading the 1 minute charts also so difficult. I want to also change here already to 5 minutes. I think we have 1 minute to go.
Yeah. On the one, and I don't scalp on Oanda anymore. I only scalp with the Fivers because of the difference, But it's really like you have to consider that, and some people's scalping systems, like you might see scalping systems on YouTube, and they're not going to work. Looks great.
They look like great on paper, though. And if you take that like something like commission and spreads into account, they actually lose you money.
Yeah. All right. So we got 25 seconds now till
let's see,
data comes out. It's going to be very interesting to see.
So by the way, I'm using the euro dollar feed of Oanda here as well, totally by coincidence. we are like making advertisement for Oanda here today, and we are not even affiliates of Oanda. So
it's
involuntary advertisement.
I don't need, like, they're so big that they don't even want affiliates, I think.
Probably true. Yeah,
they have other.
Good. Number should come out now.
Yeah. Oh wow, now it's moving. Starts moving. Oh, am I getting filled? Oh, come on, fill me.
So where do we have it here?
Shit, that's a lot of. Whoa, that's a big. Holy shit, that's a big candle.
Holy shit. But you guys see here, up here is the average true range. See where it stopped just now on the 5 minute chart. So inflation rate came in 3.1% as expected. Monthly inflation rate a little bit higher, 0.1%. Core inflation at 4%. Number-wise, actually pretty much a non-event, and you can see right now that the market is a bit undecided what to make out of these numbers. Let's have here a quick look here. Bitcoin reacting a little bit, not really reacting much. S&P 500,
Not
we
at
have the
all.
same spikes here like we're having in euro dollar. But overall, I would say actually this is quite positive for the market. Everything is aligned because it emits this aura of, okay, the Fed has everything under control. Inflation is going the way we want it. You know, there is no need at the moment for further rate hikes. We can keep the interest rate stable for now. Maybe we are going to have like a smooth last 2.5 weeks of 2023. All right.
I would like to say that I'm definitely seeing this feels bullish. I gotta agree, but it always feels something in the beginning of a news event. I mean, I'm always like I'm watching Euro USD now, and it almost got filled. That would have been beautiful. But what I'm thinking here is, in 2 hours, this candle might be a bearish engulfing candle.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, we talked about this last Friday on your channel during the NFP as well. Like the first reaction usually being the one that is into the wrong direction, right?
Yeah, almost always. And so the S&P 500 is moving nicely, but it's nothing major, nothing too major. And what I mean by nothing too, what would have been major is if inflation came in lower than expected, we would probably have a candle up here, if that happened. And if we would see a surprise, we would probably have a candle down here. Like that's what I'm saying when there's nothing major. And I like to look at Bitcoin as well when trying to determine the risk, like the risk environment. And you look at Bitcoin, it's like you look at the 5 minute, nothing. This is basically nothing. So it's a very interesting price action on Bitcoin. And then you look at Euro USD, and usually what I think when I see something like this, where you have price is basically going, at least at this point, going in the direction that it would probably have gone without any news. At that point, I think it's mostly a continuation of the of the market structure that we had. But then tomorrow, everything comes down to what happens after tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think
especially
on Friday
at 8:30 when Jerome Powell takes the microphone, probably the decision itself is also going to be pretty much a non-event.
But the price action, I'd say, so it's Tuesday now. I think on Thursday, on Thursday we should probably have. We could see some good opportunities. So Thursday, Friday might give us some good opportunities to trade. At least that's what I'm hoping. So, and you can look at something like AUD and CD.
Look at the 5 minute candle then euro dollar. It's like the epitome of an undecided market. Wick to the upside, wick to the downside, and it's like nobody really knows like what to make out of that right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a scalper's nightmare.
Yeah, this is a scalper's nightmare. Absolutely, yeah. But you can see, guys, I wasn't fast enough here to short the market because we also didn't exactly hit the ATR on the upside there.
Could you show me that again? The ATR here you talked about.
Hold on, let me activate my own here again. So it was up. Where's my drawing tool? Here, this brown dotted line here. This is the daily ATR, so average trading range to the upside, and the tactic would have been here to short the market there. In this case, would have been quite a good trade. Could have been like 20, 25 pips if you're lucky, maybe. I mean, market even going lower now here, but I just wasn't fast enough.
Yeah, and I mean,
I should have pre-entered my trade.
Like you would have gotten a really bad fill anyway.
Probably, that also, that could have been, yeah, I mean, okay, it's like once again delayed action on the stock markets, crypto markets, and what else? Forex markets. Of course, we're probably going to see some repositioning still today. I wouldn't be surprised. We're already seeing that here on the S&P 500. I was just about to say that it comes down again and tries to test this zone between 4,620 and 4,600, which is obviously, since we are above that now, an area of support. But I would be surprised to see like a lot of action still to the upside. I mean, like something like 4,670 or even 4,700. For that, the numbers were not good enough. I think this move, this volatility, is going to be, like you just said, Jonatan, going to be delayed until tomorrow at probably 8:30 p.m. CET, when Mr. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, is going to take the microphone and, tell us what the Fed thinks is going to happen in 2024, then, last meeting of 2023, to the interest rates and to the economy. Any last words?
No, yeah, it's going to be. Are we going to do Are we going to do a live stream on that event?
I wanted to do one, but I don't have time, sadly, tomorrow evening. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Maybe,
but
maybe
I'm for sure going to comment that on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm going to comment on that on Instagram. Also, links in the description of my channel there, guys. By the way, also make sure that you follow Jonatan, RLZ Trading on YouTube. Subscribe to him. I think you've seen for yourself very good insights here, very good trading insight. That the gentleman really knows what he's doing. That's why it's always such a pleasure to do these live streams with him. Also, because we have a different approach to the markets. I always like that, because it's always boring if two people say always the same things, and use the same indicators and so on and so forth. Yeah, it has been a pleasure. And
yeah, thank you for letting me come on, and looking forward to many more streams like this one.
Definitely, we are going to have a lot of streams to news events, probably also ones outside of that, whenever something special is happening on the markets. Apart from that, of course, there's a new weekly video coming out probably on Thursday, where I'm going to explain more on these new trading strategies using the ATR. So be sure to, activate this bell, I think, that you get notified when a new video comes out. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for being here, Jonatan. And always remember to use the stop loss, and happy investing. Bye-bye.